20 years ago, while I was in graduate school, I found myself sitting behind a locked door in a psychiatric hospital wanting to die. I had been feeling pretty bad for a while. My mood was going down. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't do my work. I couldn't answer phone calls. I couldn't stop crying. There are symptoms of depression that you can see, and then there are some symptoms of depression that are harder to see. They're hard to see from the outside. They're even harder sometimes to see from the inside.
Depression shapes the way you see the world, the way you see yourself, and the way you see the future. It narrows your field of vision. It makes you think that what you're seeing is how things really are. Depression shapes the way you see the world. It makes you believe that you can predict the future. When I was sitting in that hospital, I wasn't feeling very confident. I didn't think I was going to finish school. I didn't think I could ever be happy. I felt useless. I wasn't very confident, except in one particular area. There was one thing I was positive about. I was positive that I could predict the future, and that given how I was feeling, it was going to be a pretty bad one. Depression shapes the way you see the world. It makes you think that what you're seeing is just as it is. The pathway to help with depression is a little bit of self-doubt. Doubting that what you're thinking is actually real. Last year, I found myself at a restaurant reading a menu, or trying to read a menu, about to order, and I realized I can't see. Couldn't read it. Next time I went to a restaurant, I was trying to order off a menu, couldn't read it. I came to the conclusion that clearly there must be some sort of graphic design menu trend towards smaller fonts. The next time I found myself at a restaurant, I showed up a little more humble, I have to say, and I asked the people around me when I couldn't see the menu, "Can you read it?" One person said, "Yeah." The other person pulled out their reading glasses and said, "No, this is why I have them." Oh, first time I considered the possibility that it was me and not the font size. With depression, it's hard to see when your vision is impaired. Though depression tells you not only that everything's awful, but gives you a sense of certainty about it. When it comes to depression, people don't get help because they judge the fact that they are depressed. They ask themselves, what did I do wrong? How did I get here? They feel bad. With me, this time, with my vision, all I did was call the eye doctor. I didn't blame myself for it. That's all that I had to do. Depression shapes the way we see ourselves. I was in graduate school, on my way to becoming a psychologist, something I had dreamed of doing. I had learned how to diagnose depression. I had learned the multiple causes of it. I was learning how to treat it. But I couldn't apply it because that depressed voice told me that I was unique, that it works for other people, but not me. Now I look back and I think, yeah, Paula, you're special, just like everybody else. What we realize, again, with depression, you can't predict the future. But when I was sitting in that hospital, I thought I could. I could have never predicted that I would finish school. I could have never predicted that I would have many people in my life that would come to me for help, and that I was able to be a small part in their bigger journeys. I could have never predicted that I'd be happily married. I could have never predicted that I would have kids. I could have never predicted this moment. This is one of the first times I'm telling this story publicly. I've learned from clients that I need to be courageous in trying to do what they do. When I was sitting in that hospital, I was feeling useless. I was feeling worthless. I was feeling ashamed. I was feeling scared. I could have never predicted that I'd be standing here telling you this with no shame, with no embarrassment, but I still have some fear like I had then. But just because I'm scared doesn't mean I'm not willing to tell my truth. So here's what I ask of you. If you're struggling with depression, consider the possibility that how you're seeing things is wrong and that that's okay. Consider the possibility that some mistrust in your thinking and some small amount of trust that someone else might be seeing things more clearly can save your life. Just because you feel worthless doesn't mean you're not worthy. And just because you feel helpless doesn't mean there isn't help. Just because you don't have hope, it's okay, you don't need it. You can borrow mine. You can borrow the hope of millions of people who've gotten better. Remember, you're special, just like the rest of us. Just because you don't know how to solve the problem of getting your work done, of financial problems, how are you going to deal with the feelings that come with a breakup? How are you going to deal with all that? Guess what? Billions of people have gotten through it. You're special, just like the rest of us. Let me end with this. I'm looking out today, and it's a pretty rainy day today here in Atlanta. But just because there's lots of clouds, lots of darkness, doesn't mean the sun still isn't there, even if you can't see it.